I am in the significant minority
I know,
that does
I
not.
already know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't like the Thin Mints. I don't like mint chocolate on any level. It is a abomination known to man.
Not
But
even
because
in
I
ice
want my
cream.
fresh breath over here, and I want my sweet indulgent over here, and I do not want them to mix.
Not
And I
even in
get
ice
it.
cream, in no world should they ever exist.
For in when I build my own universe, there will be no such thing. If that makes any sense,
Mm.
the world will shut down, and my freezer will be completely full of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and I will never touch it. All right, episode 145. We're back, Rob, with some sparkling fresh water. What are we drinking there?
145. This is, Good and Gather purified drinking water.
Good
I
and
believe this
Gather.
is
That
Target's. I think this is Target's,
Target's
yeah,
brand, Good and Gather. Yeah,
Target's
Up
brand.
and Up is CVS, I believe. Good and Gather.
Mm,
There's all sorts of private label brands. We work on a lot of private label brands. It's fun. So,
yeah.
in my Instagram feed recently, I've been getting a lot of, and I don't know how this happened. A guy going into Costco and then, like, busting the Kirkland signature brand of being that it's the well-known manufacturer, thinking that he's like, "Oh, surprise, the Kirkland brand of coffee is really Starbucks coffee." And I'm wondering, like, A, why is it in my Instagram feed? But also, B, do people not realize that? You know what I mean? Like, do people really think
No, people
that
don't. Yes, people think that.
is that okay, alright, I guess it's just
Absolutely.
because we're in the biz and we do so much packaging, we
Yeah.
work with so many CPG, like we just kinda know how manufacturing works and everything, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
there
yeah.
absolutely are a percentage of the population that knows that, but I would say the
You
vast majority. I mean, because remember,
okay.
it always used to be like, I remember first hearing about that when, it was like vodka, and I was like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
Stoli is really
Yeah.
Kettle One," or I don't
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
or
It's
the
all the
dog
same,
food is
it's
the
all the
dog
same.
food. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, we're certainly more
I don't know, I mean, do
in
people think that Girl Scouts make Girl Scout cookies? I mean, I don't I'm just jaded, I guess, in that respect, you know? So,
what I don't that
I do know who makes Girl Scout
you're
cookies,
suggesting they don't? I
and
don't.
you're not allowed to reveal that. That is, like, one of the key
Scouts honor?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, which, so I will not be revealing who manufactures Girl Scout cookies, but I will say my data is probably 15 years old at the soonest, you know what I mean? So it could
Yeah.
have changed in the last decade or 2, you know?
I
So,
those girls make a good cookie. What's your favorite?
what's it called? Samoa? Is that the one? Is
That's the
that
classic. That's the one with the caramel and the chocolate drizzle and the coconut and
Yes, it's got the coconut. The backup is going to be tagalong, which is the
peanut
peanut
butter.
butter. It's the shortbread, I believe, peanut butter, and then all dipped in chocolate, right?
It's got a lot of peanut butter in it. It's a
Yeah,
thick cookie.
it's
It is
not.
a
It's like I want it to be a Reese's kind of peanut butter, but it is not a Reese's peanut butter.
mm,
It's its own kind of vibe, you know. So I am in the significant
I
minority
know,
that does
I
not.
already know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't like the Thin Mints. I don't like mint chocolate on any level. It is a abomination known to man. Um,
Not
But
even
because
in
I
ice
want my
cream.
fresh breath over here, and I want my sweet indulgent over here, and I do not want them to mix.
Not
And I
even in
get
ice
it.
cream, in no world should they ever exist.
For in when I build my own universe, there will be no such thing, if that makes any sense.
Mm,
The world will shut down, and my freezer will be completely full of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and I will never touch it. I will probably
wow.
starve out in the
Now do
street.
you freeze your Samoas? A lot of people do that.
No, but that's an interesting idea. That's an int there is an interesting, trend of freezing a lot of things, like, you freeze grapes now, and you put some, like, stevia on it, and that like, you freeze blueberries, and those taste like chocolate chips. Have you seen all this? Like, you freeze a bunch of stuff, and it kinda
Well,
tastes
yeah,
differently?
people have been freezing grapes forever. I'm not a
Yeah,
big it doesn't really do anything for me.
yeah,
I don't.
so you love mint chocolate chip, though. Yeah, that's a jam for you. You're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm pro mint chocolate
Yeah,
chip.
I know that I am in the solid I don't know, what am I in the reverse 1%. I mean, everyone loves mint chocolate chip, and I am one of the few that
Yeah,
does not like, it's
that
like
is,
licorice, like the few, the proud, but I'm like the reverse licorice, you know? So
yeah.
anyway, I don't know how to pivot from here to what today's topic was because I believe we were going to fire back up our, drive along design, right? Drive
Let's do it.
along brand development and things like that, right?
Let's do it. The Atlanta
Um,
Cup. Talking
yeah, the
Atlanta
Atlanta
Cup.
Cup. When last we all gathered together, it was, "Hey, let's take a look at some brand platforms. Let's take a look at some logos. Let's take a look at some stuff." Do you recall? Did we reveal which one they went with? No, we didn't.
We
Okay.
did not.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen, and it is going to, reveal
Yeah.
which one,
Foreshadowing. They picked one.
yeah, they did pick one. They did pick one. So boom. They ended up picking the Fiery Peach. Fiery Peach
Oh,
is the one we went with. So, yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into it, I guess,
yeah,
Um,
totally.
Atlanta Cup 2025, badass, it's a good, interesting mix of a very clean, modern, timeless logo file juxtaposed with this really cool, aggressive might not be the right word, but, like, sort of interesting halftone photography with some woodblock type and some, I think, interesting sort of ready to be animated stop motiony kind of clunky sort of interesting fun design. It's very different. One of the things they mentioned was they want to build IP, they want to do something different, but it's also ties into Atlanta with the Fiery Peach, which is cool. So it's a really, really fun, kind of interesting design, right? And design platform, right? So from there, we started. This is what we're looking at right now is basically the style guide, and then we've got some creative examples here we can show you guys at the end. But kind of what the primary mark looks like, and then how you can um sort of work with the crest, right? The crest can be timeless, right? Agnostic of the date, or we can put in the year's tournament, right? In this instance, obviously 2025, right? And then the modular nature of, hey, do tone on tone, do high contrast, do black on peach, or white on peach, or black, like however it works. I think it's pretty interesting, So, Rob, I'm just going to keep rocking through this unless
Yeah.
you want me to. You feel
No,
free to
just
jump
keep
in
going.
and stuff like that. So, from there, yeah, I mean, kind of what I just talked about, I guess, sort of the full logo with the type, pretty modular in that it can work. The crest can work with the type, or you could just do the type only, right? Or you can just do the crest only. I imagine like kick-ass tennis balls with just the crest on it, So and like in hats, merch, things like that, right?
Now,
From the
do you prefer, let me ask you a question. Do you prefer it with the date or without the date, or does it completely depend on the use, right? So like you
Great
mentioned
question.
merch. Like do you want universally would you pick one of those over the other or by usage?
Great question. I think that I would probably utilize the dated one
Mm.
on merch, on tennis balls, on hats, on things, right? Because that does create, you know, um, a limited window, a
Well, it drives
specific.
sales is what it does. It
Yeah,
drives
so
sales
like,
to
well,
people.
I was trying to be kind. It's like the Peachtree Road Race T-shirt changes every year, right? It's a badge of honor to have that different design, everything. I mean, they could do
Yeah.
a generic shirt that is, for all of, all races or whatever like that, but it's more interesting to have it dated,
Well, I mean, I
Um,
think part of our job is to help drive merch sales.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
call it what it
absolutely.
is. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, I like it with the date. I like it with the date on it.
Yeah, I think the data is cool. I think there are instances there may be timeless needs for
Yeah.
potentially signage or things that you might invest significant money into where you would
Yeah.
use just the crest only, right? But
I yeah. Yeah.
but to me, I think you're using it with the date, repeatedly.
I think yeah, I think there's use for both, right? So like
Yeah.
if I were to buy a hat,
Yeah.
I would want it without the date because
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear a hat for a year and then update my
Yeah, yeah,
hat.
yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like I think about Atlanta United. Like I'm going to wear
Yeah.
the same Atlanta United hat,
Yeah.
but then I'm going to buy the jersey every year, right? That's
Yeah, yeah,
got the
yeah.
star.
Yeah.
Well, I just got the star every year. That's funny. Um, no, but it's got the new kit every year and things like
Yeah.
that. So I think
Mhm.
it's a good
I agree.
balance.
I agree. So from there, color breakdowns, sometimes it's nice from a design perspective to sort of give the colors a name, right? Just as we're sending around brand guidelines and different vendors and things like that, right? So light peach, peach, fiery peach, and then stone in there, which is kind of fun. So it's sort of that tone on tone, sort of light gray. Always good to show people how you build the different graphics. I mean, this is going to be sent to different vendors to build different pieces of signage or social media advertising or whatever the case may be, right? So just kind of a quick breakdown on, different graphic elements and then from there, typography, right? So we do have this very interesting Adobe font, HVD Rowdy. and using that as kind of headlines. But you definitely need mission critical information to be legible to a certain extent, right? So some nice bold simplified sans serif type below. And then inside the brand guidelines, we did share, again, we're running at this thing as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So some of the in development concept creative, right? Just to show how some of these things can be compiled, right? Um, Different messaging, with the date for tickets, one night only, call to action, things like that. I think the one on the left is a little bit more appropriate for external utilization, and maybe the one on the right is more like in arena kind of utilization, right? It's because there's less information, things like that. But again, this is kind of just the purpose here is just to kind of show texturally, graphically how this brand can kind of come together. The mix of the clean and the modern, with kind of the little wacky, crazy, zany stuff, which is fun. So and that's it. So super quick brand standards, which I think is pretty fun. Then because we were rocking and rolling, it'd pull up some additional pieces of creative that was done after the brand standards were developed, right? Just sort of some event posters. These have been repurposed into email blasts, right? To Alta members, USTA members, different sort of existing tennis groups and things like that, right? So we developed a whole series of pieces of creative for that. So tennis is back in the A, which is pretty cool. From there, again, you can see kind of pulled from what the brand standards were developed for, just kind of leaning in on the date, which is kind of interesting, and the players, right? And then a little game set Atlanta, having some fun with some tennis terminology, right? And then we also did, again, just for part of the media kit development, we did player specific, just sort of pieces of creative, right? So we've got Ben Shelton, Nick Kyrgios here, which is pretty fun. Sabalenka, who just won the U.S. Open, I believe. So back-to-back defending champion, world's number one, which is pretty badass that she's coming to Atlanta. And then Naomi Osaka's piece of creative. So that is literally where we're at. I mean, podcasting and designing at the same time, right? I mean, taking the ride with us, which is pretty fun. So
Yeah, I think also a couple things to note, given the short timeline, this is what we would call a brand guidelines light, right? I
yeah,
mean, right. So this brand guidelines, while it's very informative, it's a pretty succinct document, right?
yeah,
It's pretty succinct.
agreed.
Oftentimes when we do brand guidelines for other clients, Mars is the one
Oh my
that I
lord.
think of. But I mean, they can get to be 100 over 100 pages,
Yep.
right? With super just intense. So this was kind of a style guide light, we'll call it.
Yeah, I
Also, and
mean,
I
this
think
is kind of I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's
yeah,
really more it's got the mechanical needs for vendors, for colors, for embroidery, for
right,
printing, for things like that, but then the rest of it's just kind of a go by for, hey, here's kind of how you build
yeah,
the you know what I mean, and sort of have fun with it. But to your point, like when we build packaging brand guidelines, I mean, it is a full front
yeah,
panel, back panel, and then depending, you mentioned Mars, I mean, there were over 200 SKUs for that brand, right? So it's 50-pound bags all the way down to teeny little packages, right? And everything in between, right? So the breakdown on how that brand is applied to all the different manufacturers was tremendously detailed. And then also too, that went all over the world. I mean,
well,
they're
yeah, that's a global,
manufacturing.
well, a massive global
Yeah,
project.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
So
think the design of this one also too. What's smart about it is the design and kind of that aggressive sort of rough type nature in the layout. It allows people a little bit of flexibility to
yeah,
have fun with it and kind of color outside the lines, right?
yeah, I would agree.
And I think that's fine. So I think the design allows for that. The other thing too that's interesting, peek behind the curtain, is you know all this again was done in such a quick time frame that we were only given a couple of images. Was it one or two images of each
We have
star?
one image of
One image.
each player that is officially licensed and sanctioned for use.
Right.
So
Right, and I don't obviously, we're not in the ins and outs of that deal, but why we
yeah,
only got one image, I don't know, but
yeah,
one image of each. So,
correct.
again, it's kinda you have to work with what you're given, in this case, not a lot. I
Yeah.
think we did a really good job of utilizing those images to the best of anyone's ability, really,
Yeah.
because there's really only one where he's actually swinging a racket. I think 3 of
Yeah,
them are just
Sabalenka's holding a racket, but Nick is actually kind of getting ready to do something. The other 2,
yeah,
3 of them are kind of pumping their fist, and one of them's got a racket to a certain
yeah,
extent, you know?
yeah,
So, and then, yeah, for all the designers and other sort of art directors and creatives out there listening, it's like, you can't flip this stuff either. I mean, sometimes you can flip it and get away with it, right? In terms of like the actual image itself is what I mean by flipping, but, like,
Right.
Sabalenka's got a very specific tattoo on a very specific arm, right? So you can't go, "Oh, my tattoo suddenly jumped to my other arm," that type of thing,
Right.
right? Or you're wearing a Nike hat. I mean, I guess you could flip the Nike logo, but, like, the Nike logo is not flipped, you know? Or we'd have to Photoshop it back and things like that, right? So there is an art to compositionally too, if everybody's looking one way or looking the other way, or how do we kinda make it? I think to your point about the design, you know, you have a little bit more freedom, right, to be able to get them in the corners of layouts or all
Yeah.
composited together and things like that, right? Um, we ended up having to do I mean, Ticketmaster graphics, building the Atlanta Cup website, things like that, right? You have to show all 4 players together, right? So
Yeah.
creating that halftone image of the 4 players that are all photographed differently, all photographed from different angles differently, like, I
Right.
think that the design platform that has been created allows for a little bit more flexibility. It was even though there's only 4 people, it actually is surprisingly challenging to get that collage to work, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting challenge. It's been an
And
interesting ride.
worth noting, the atlantacup.com is live. I mean, we got the
Yeah.
site up and actually selling tickets,
Yeah. So I think
or
by the
pre-sale, I
time
think it is right now.
yeah, I think it's reasonable to say by the time this podcast is out, I mean, the website will have been live for a while and
Yeah.
the event's on Ticketmaster right now. I mean, you can definitely buy tickets, so that's pretty interesting. So,
Yeah, that's I
pretty
think
cool.
from start to live website selling tickets was like 10
Don't
10 day 10 day
don't
was it
say
10
it out
days?
loud, Rob, because we don't want clients to have this
Was it
level of
10 days? Oh,
expectation.
no, this comes with a price.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear. There are
Yeah,
rush
yeah.
charges.
I
But, I
you
mean, is
know,
that 10 days,
I
right?
mean, it's basically project start to website launch in 10 days, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, buy
Um,
tickets, buy tickets, use promo code X blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah
it's a
from your
very
email bot
simple,
yeah,
basic
yeah,
site, but it literally drives to Ticketmaster, but
yeah,
that said, pretty impressive to get it up and rocking that live.
yeah,
So
it's
maybe
been
we'll
a
have
fu
a ticket sale update next podcast, we'll see.
yeah, 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 well, I mean, hey, hopefully this baby sells out quick,
I know.
but yeah, I'd be curious to get everybody I mean, this when this thing hits, the YouTubes and everything else, I'd be wondering what the comments might be like or what solicitations we might get in regards to like, "Oh, I should have picked number 3," or "I like the fiery peach," or what you know what I mean? Or things like that. So, it's kind of fun to share in an open forum kinda where we're at with everything. It's terrifying, but also pretty cool. So,
And what are we doing? Tell our fans what we're doing next. What are we doing next on the project? What comes next?
well, we mentioned merchandise, right? So
Mm,
merch is right around the corner because the event's in December, the lead times on merch, I mean, that's contingent by vendor, right? And how
right,
you're doing it. Also, there's no time for drop shipping from foreign countries and the state of the world aside. Forget about that. It's just the timing, right?
right.
So we're going to have to figure out what the merch situation will be, and I think from there we might go to in arena event signage and things
In
like that.
venue
I mean,
signage, yeah.
yeah, and then as sponsors come, I mean, needs are going to keep kind of happening and
Snowballing,
adding
yeah,
and things like that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So yeah, we'll see where this takes us next. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. So it's been fun.
Alright, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
good stuff, good
Yeah.
stuff. We better stop this podcast so we can get back to work on it,
Yeah.
and
Seriously, if they're watching, they're like, why aren't you working on our stuff right now? So, all right. Well, where can everybody find us, Rob?
you can find us, of course, at mocktheagency.com and track us down on the socials. It's pretty easy to do.
Sweet. All right. Thanks. All right. We'll see you for 146. Where does
146.
TAC take us next, right?